Breaker 19, we got some breaking news for you. Our man Joe Brady making a career move, and we're coming to you here with our thoughts and reactions.
Our boy, Joe Brady, now the passing game coordinator, wide receivers coach for the LSU Tigers. What the hell is that position entitle?
Clearly, he's going to be working with Burrow, who just lit up UCF in the New Year's Six game there. So my man's going from working with Drew Brees to working with a transfer from Ohio State SEC stud. I think he's going to be happy with this decision and some of the talent he's going to be working with.
Yeah, I mean, you go from working with Drew Brees to a little less talented quarterback, I'm assuming, but he's going to be molding these kids' minds and kind of teaching them what he learned from Sean and Drew, and I'm really excited to see what the hell he does.
Yeah, it's a hell of an opportunity, right? I mean, only fucking 28 years old and already unofficially second in command for the LSU offense here in the fall.
And is it safe for me to say he's going to be getting a little bump in the old salary?
I think his wallet's going to be a little thicker on his right ass cheek moving forward. I agree.
Dude, the crazy thing to me is this kid, I've known him forever, came to William & Mary, and just working his way up the ranks, it's been insane.
He actually didn't go straight to William & Mary out of high school. He was a transfer into school there. So how was that transition for him? I guess how did you come to know him as a transfer student?
Yeah, he had come in from Air Force, transferred in 2009 to William & Mary, and hit it off with me and all my roommates. We all got really close, and next thing I know, this kid is staying in my house. I'm waking up in the morning, and he's downstairs. We're watching NFL Live and shit like that.
Yeah, unofficial breaking news is we had heard rumors of something like this could be in the works maybe about a month ago now. Obviously after the collegiate season, a lot of these coaching carousels have to wait for the NFL seasons to finish. But I guess this originated even before then.
Yeah, this should have been coming for about 14 months now is what everyone's saying.
Yeah, almost a year, I guess. Back in last off season, the Saints coaches actually took a trip to Baton Rouge to interact with the LSU coaches because Ed Ogeron actually had worked with the OC Pete Carmichael of the Saints years and years ago on the Saints staff.
Apparently Brady stood up, did a whole RPO presentation, and fucking killed it for like 3 hours.
Yeah, the word is Carmichael ended up going first, talking for about an hour, and then bringing Joe Brady with him let him take over the discussion, to which was about an hour, hour and a half. And Big Ed Ogeron was so impressed and asked him so many questions that Brady apparently talked for about 3 hours by the time the meeting was over.
What possible questions could Ogeron be asking? Where's the jambalaya? You got any jambalaya on this thing?
You pass it, and one guy here and one guy there, and a zig and a zag and a zoom. But I'm sure he was breaking down all the RPOs because that's been Brady's entire background, even before New Orleans when he originally started as, an unpaid assistant right after his senior season at William & Mary under Kevin Rogers, who, again, DJ had mentioned earlier in the podcast and seems to have quite a coaching tree developing underneath him.
Yeah, and not to mention our head coach, Jimmy Laycock, in college. He has a hell of a tree of Mike Tomlin, Sean McDermott, Quinn from the Falcons. It's pretty extensive.
Yeah, all those guys, believe it or not, actually started at William & Mary. So the small 1AA CAA school in Virginia is putting out 3 current NFL coaches. It's pretty impressive.
Yeah, and Lou Holtz had started his career at William & Mary and actually coached our head coach, Jimmy Laycock. So it even goes back to Marv Levy at William & Mary. So Tribe putting out coaches all over the place.
That's right. And back to where Brady got his start there, William & Mary. He was actually running the scout team offense as an unpaid assistant, which was a ton more responsibility than there's typically associated with being basically an intern.
Yeah, Brady had that shit like a fine-tuned machine, and coaches were impressed, and you kind of saw the early signs of this kid being something big.
He was then able to use his network, and more specifically, the defensive coordinator at the time at Penn State University was Bob Shoop, who again had come from the Tribe coaching tree. So Brady then took promotion, so to speak, to be a grad assistant at Penn State, where he essentially worked with Trace McSorley and Saquon Barkley earlier in the career, and you guys know those names, and both of them had obviously amazing collegiate careers.
Yeah, he had helped them when they went to the Rose Bowl, and Darnold took them down at the end, but they scored, fucking 50 points in that game?
Right? But a personal opinion here is I think his career really took off when Moorhead came to town in State College in Pennsylvania from
Shots
Fordham.
fired at Franklin.
Shots fired at Franklin, I guess, right? But Moorhead really took that offense to the next level and got them to the national championship college playoff discussion. And his spread offense RPO system is continuing to be successful at Mississippi State. So Brady learned from one of the best there in one of his early spots in coaching.
Absolutely, and Brady had nothing but great things to say about him. Everybody at Penn State wishes he was still at Penn State. But they're going to have some battles this year. They're both in the SEC West. That'll be fun and exciting to see.
It will be, right? He's already got some connections in conference there. The large jump he took from Penn State to New Orleans, and everybody's curious about how you get your start in the NFL. Brady's wide receiver coach at William and Mary, Brendan Nugent, was actually with the Saints, and that's how Brady got in touch with him and used his references from Moorhead, Franklin, and everybody at William and Mary to get involved in New Orleans. And obviously, there's not a much better place you can be in the NFL right now if you want to learn the offensive game of football.
Nuge took a wild trip to get into the NFL. He started out with me at William and Mary. All 5 years he was there with me. Awesome guy. Ended up going up to Calgary Stampeders with Tressman. Tressman goes and gets the Bears
Canada,
job.
Baby.
Yeah, gets the Bears job. Gets fired from the Bears.
Man, I forgot about Tressman.
He got picked up to go to the Saints. Worked his ass off like Brady did. Got a promotion. Asked Brady. Brady gets the spot, interviews, and gets his job. So it's pretty crazy. Once you get in the NFL, they say you don't leave it. But I guess when you get a potential offensive coordinating job at LSU, you kind of got to jump at that.
Yeah, you say potential because the current offensive coordinator at LSU, Steve, I believe it's Enzinger, is an older gentleman, to say the least.
You would hope that they're pretty much bringing Brady in here to groom him and to eventually succeed over him.
I would think so in a year or two, obviously, if the RPO transition goes smoothly. And LSU's offense, now they weren't terrible last year, ranked 38th, so there were signs of life, and I think a lot of that did have to do with the quarterback play they received because prior to Burrow, that was clearly the deficiency for LSU. They had the defense to hang with Bama, but they could never score.
Yeah, when we have college game day at LSU, Alabama, I'm going to need more than 0 points from LSU at home.
Yeah, what was it, 24-0, and it was Alabama's closest game of the year.
I was like, this game sucks.
The offense succeeds, obviously, this year. That's going to lend itself to transitioning to a larger role in the future. And the up-and-coming young coach, such as Sean McVay and Cliff Kingsbury being hired recently, has shown to the entire industry that it's okay to hire these young guns who have lived in the millennial style of football, which is the RPO and no longer the I formation 44 smash.
Yeah, and you wonder, can this trend continue? I guess if there are enough people that are succeeding, people are going to keep trying it out. And for Brady's sake, God, I hope he fucking kills it.
Well, that's one of the benefits, I think, of being in the college game is you can recruit athletes who now fit your system. In the NFL, you can do it to a certain degree, obviously, with free agency and the draft, bringing in people to fit your system. But ultimately, if you have a Drew Brees, you're going to tailor your offense to work with Drew Brees. So I even kind of foresee Brady implementing a little bit more of the quarterback run into the RPO system. So it's almost like the new triple threat attack and not the Georgia Tech style that was 1912.
Now, you see that with Trace McSorley, so you think that he probably picked up on some of that from Moorhead. So he's got a good basis of Moorhead being an offensive guru in the college game, and then he could take up shit from Sean Payton in the NFL game. You were saying how he brings in the different packages kind of fuck with the defensive coordinators, and hopefully that's something he can implement here at LSU.
Yeah, another thing about the college game in 2019 and even in particular the NFL, but a lot of these coaches are very focused on one side of the ball. Very rarely are the head coaches involved with the entire team anymore. So the fact that Brady is very focused offensively and specifically in the RPO game, I don't think will hinder his chances ultimately at a head coaching job because, I mean, here in Philadelphia, you have Doug Peterson, who's the offense, and Schwartz takes the defense. So, yes, you take the overall team aspect of it, the behind the scenes, you have to do all the media that's involved, but being strictly offense, I don't think will limit his future at all.
Basically, what it breaks down is we are huge LSU fans. So LSU goes into Ann Arbor. Who you rooting for?
Oh, I got the Wolverines, baby. Fuck Brady.
Fuck you.
But go Tigers, SEC. The only time they play, Capital One Bowl, right? New Year's Day.
Oh, God. Brady, can you please change the freaking bowl? What's it called?
Bowl affiliations.
Bowl affiliations. Come on.
So, Pags, what do you think, again, about the transition from the NFL to college? Some people are more successful, a la, speaking of Michigan, Jim Harbaugh, because he rubs people the wrong way. Brady's kind of the opposite, outgoing, kind of personal guy you can interact with. He's not going to eventually rub off people the wrong way. So, do you think he'll be able to relate to these high school kids and start recruiting? Because he's going from working with Alvin Kamara pregame to 19-year-olds, 20-year-olds who are just trying to graduate.
Brady's one of the smartest people I've ever met in my life, and I think this kid can do anything he puts his mind to. He's going to be able to sit down and convince these parents that he's going to take care of his kid for the next 3 years, and he's going to show it. I have nothing but confidence in this kid.
Do you think he's going to be on the sidelines for the LSU games? I believe he was on the sidelines for the Saints games.
No, he was in the box for the Saints games and for Penn State. He always posted a picture on Instagram for his mom. I could see him getting in the flow of the game. I personally would want to be on the sidelines, and I think being the passing game coordinator, you probably want to be on the sidelines, kind of get the feel of the game as it goes.
It's an interesting point of view because listening to reports, apparently the previous passing game coordinator was up in the box. So the benefits there are obviously being at a higher level. You can see plays develop, what the defense is doing, but it's harder to communicate down to the field and to these players what exactly is happening. So I don't know where I'd be.
Well, obviously up in the box you can see the fucking schemes of the defense and everything like that, but you got to have a trusted person up there to relay that shit down to you.
I don't know if they have these Microsoft tablets in the college game here, Pags, communication walkie-talkies.
Listen, when I coached at Moravian, we could fucking draw a picture for the offensive coordinator down to him. So these guys at LSU, I'm sure they have enough fucking technology to make it work.
Ultimately, we've teased it a couple times trying to get Brady on. We were going to after the Saints won the Super Bowl, but unfortunately that's not the way it went. And now Brady is not available to the media quite yet. Unfortunately, LSU doesn't want one of his first interviews to be with the 2Close2Call podcast.
Ridiculous.
I don't fucking get it, but what are you going to do? So eventually when he's able to speak and I guess gets his ESPN time out of the way, maybe he'll have a minute or two for us peasants.
He told me the last thing I heard from him is time to clear the noise and get to work. So the kid's ready.
He's already out on the road there grinding and recruiting. So that's the world of football, right? No sleep, even if you're changing jobs. He probably doesn't even have a place to live yet, and he's out there recruiting kids.
2Close2Call podcast has your back, Brady. We wish you nothing but best of luck.
Yeah, man, and we'll see you this fall down there live and in person. We're going to do a live interview with Brady come LSU Auburn or LSU Alabama, definitely.
Oh, man. Death Valley. Here comes the 2Close2Call podcast.
That's it, baby. But anyway, thanks for listening out there. That was our emergency podcast about Joe Brady, the new passing game coordinator and wide receivers coach for the LSU Tigers.